Chase race number 7 of 10 on our season playthrough, the Bass Pro Shops MBNA 500. And this is the second to last 500-mile race of the season. We have 3.5-mile racetracks to go in these final 4 races, and we have just over a 1 full race worth of points lead over Jeff Gordon. I'd say it's probably a 4-horse race for the championship right now, up with 4 races to go, but it would take a lot for us to give up that many points over these 4 races. But it's not impossible for that to happen because of our inconsistency on 1.5 miles this season. We'll see how that's going to go here today and then tomorrow at Texas as well in the next 2 races. Phoenix should be a good track for us. We should win there. But to highlight today's race, we led only 2 laps earlier this season at Atlanta in a 50% race, and it was the only 2 laps of the race itself. We're going to qualify with the setup I finished the race with last season because I felt like the car was at its fastest at that point. We'll see where we start and then kind of go from there. So, all right. 4 races to go. We're 6 for 6 in the chase for wins. Is it possible to actually sweep the chase? Like, that would be insane if we were able to do that. I think Atlanta and Texas are probably the 2 worst races for us of what we have left. Texas, we finished 11th earlier this season and did not lead a single lap. And at least we showed speed late in the first race at Atlanta. So I'm hoping we can kind of pick up from that and have a better start. Hopefully able to lead more than just the 2 laps. A lot of speed going down into turns 1 and 2. Maybe carried a little bit too much speed as I worked up the racetrack there just a little bit. Car definitely feels more on the free side of things. Don't want to hit the apron here. Probably get a little bit more aggressive because it's qualifying. 12th on lap 1, I'll take that. I think we can do better, though. Oh, that was way too much apron getting into the corner. I don't know if that was actually better than the lap before or not. I don't think I had as much mid-corner speed, but I hooked the bottom a lot better. 3 and 4 feels just as good, if not better, than the lap before. This could be better. 10th? Yeah, it was better by 2 spots. All right, top 10 qualifying spot. Jimmie Johnson going to be on the pole for this one. Oh, man, I think I'm going to need a little bit more grip. Car felt a little too free for me, personally. We're going to put a half a round of wedge into it for the start, and then we'll just kind of go from there. If we have to take it back out and maybe mess around with the air pressure a bit, we will. Haven't been around other cars, so that'll be interesting now that we're in traffic. Green flag is in the air. We're underway at Atlanta. 4 races to go on the NASCAR 07 season. Wade, thanks for tuning in. Wow, that was a lot of contact with Hamlin. Car was loose. It felt like I was getting aero loose off the corner. Car's all over the back bumper of this one. I don't have as much downforce in it as I usually have for the 1.5 miles, but that's what I was rolling with at the end of the season race earlier, so we'll see. That contact with Hamlin killed us in the sense that, I mean, look how far we've fallen behind the top 10 already. It's kind of crazy, though, that I got as aero loose as I did, considering that we were just getting up to speed. Jimmie Johnson in the 48 car leading these first 2 laps from the pole. Still out in front. Dale Jarrett getting by us for 11th last lap. At the end of lap 3, Blaney looking to make the pass on him. I don't know how much speed we're actually going to have in this thing to be able to make the passes we need. 10.5 hour shift yesterday. Well, glad to know you made it through. Yeah, this thing is still too loose. I might need more wedge. Did ding up the right side of the car a little bit too much, I believe. I didn't think I was going to need more downforce. I didn't go back and like rewatch anything from the race at Atlanta earlier in the season. It has been an extremely long time. Race 4 versus the fourth to last race of the year. It's a long separation between these two events, longest in between any two tracks on this 2006 schedule that we go to more than once. Remember, we kind of struggled out of the gate at Charlotte too, so we just got to get to working on this thing, and we'll see what we'll have for the finish. We got 500 miles to try to figure it out. You know, we don't have to lead them all. We just got to lead the one. It'd be nice to ensure 5 bonus points at some point in time in the middle of the race as well. Just got to be patient. The handling of this car just gets worse and worse when I have somebody directly behind me. Got Jamie McMurray in the 26 closing in. We are catching up to Scott Riggs in the 10. Should get by him for position. He out-qualified us. Started top 10. Didn't even run a single lap in the top 10. Best we've been is 11th. Outside of getting up to speed. Barely pulled through. Well, I mean, sounds like it was a long, long day. If I ever feel like I have a long work day, it's more of a mental fatigue than a physical fatigue for sure. Like, my job is more physical, but like, my body feels fine. My body feels great and stuff at the end of the week still, but I definitely don't get as much sleep during my work week compared to what I do on my weekends off. You know, I'm probably sleeping anywhere between like 6 to 8 hours on my work nights, and usually it's closer to like 6 or 7, and then it's like more 8 to 9 on the weekends. So I just feel honestly more awake when I'm streaming, for instance, on the weekends and doing just anything, not just this. Yeah, I really struggle with that. I'm not somebody that stays up real late, you know, so I'm still getting decent sleep, but I don't like the idea of going to bed at 8 o'clock before for the next day of work. Yeah, my shifts at work are 10 hours, so I can sympathize with you there. I don't want to just let these guys go, but I'm really going to start burning the rear tires off the car if they just kind of stay right behind me. We got by Scott Riggs, caught past him. He's still holding off Jamie McMurray. And I'm hoping he continues to do that. We could just start to pull away from both of them. Now McMurray looks to the inside of Riggs. Riggs is going to be falling back. I don't think he's got any kind of speed that we do up here towards the front of the field. Dale Jr., by the way, is the leader. He took the lead a handful of laps ago away from Jimmy Johnson. So Johnson and Earnhardt, who are still two of the four drivers that are in contention for the championship, in my belief, into these final four races, are the ones leading. And Dave Blaney in 11th right now, just kind of trying to hold on. We're definitely going to have to make the car more grippy. In return, will that create more speed? I don't know. I mean, I would like to think it's going to help at least a little bit. It's probably going to slow us down on the straightaways even more. This is just a fast mile-and-a-half track. I really don't know how I stole a win here earlier in the season, looking back on it. I don't know what my strategy was that race. I can't remember how many cautions we may have had that gave us a shot at it. Getting way too much of that white line and apron there. Car's already free. That just made it even more free through the center of 1 and 2. I do think there's cars behind us that are quicker than us. I don't know that we have a top 10 car. Honestly, though, with the lead we have, we just got to not wreck and just give what the give what the car is going to give us. You know, we got a 15th place car for the next two races. We finished 15th. You know, we overachieved, really, in the first 6 races of the chase. There were 3 of those races I knew I had to win. The other 3, that was just an added bonus. And that's why we have such a big lead right now. And that, I think, is going to be enough to help us win this championship. We just got to kind of coast through these next 2 races, dominate Phoenix like I know I can, and then see what kind of a points lead I have going into Homestead and finish where I have to finish to win the title that day. You know, if I have to finish 7th, 8th, you know, we'll try to grind out a 7th or 8th on a new track. We'll figure it out. Tony Raines is passing us right now. Although Raines did get a top 10 at Charlotte in the last mile-and-a-half, so, you know, it is what it is. I got to be smart because I know this car's not handling well. So if I just go out here and try to battle each and every one of these guys, I'm going to wreck. Especially if somebody gets right on the rear bumper and takes the air off the rear spoiler at all. Yeah, that's not good. None of that was good. Oh my gosh. I couldn't... Once I made contact with the wall a little bit, I couldn't keep the car straight. It was just going back and forth between Wall and Kyle Busch. Thing is free. Crazy thing is I tightened it up a little bit after qualifying before the race. I think the right thing to do would have been to add more downforce, that's for sure. That's where I went wrong. I was questioning it. I almost did it even before qualifying. Honestly, though, it's tough to gauge because qualifying's only 2 laps. We're 22 laps into this thing, so I wasn't going to know for sure exactly what the car was going to handle like this late into the run. But yeah, I'm going to add more wedge. Definitely going to make an air pressure adjustment. Hope that we get some cautions along the way. We only had 1 at Charlotte. We did have 1. So 15th right now for Dave Blaney. We got to stay on the lead lap. That's big too. You know, no matter how long this race goes without a caution, we have to stay on the lead lap to give ourselves at least a chance at the best finish we possibly could get. We have settled in the sense there isn't anybody directly behind us anymore. Although we still got over half the run to get to the end of the fuel cycle for where we're at right now. Lancelot, thanks for tuning in. We had about a 15th place car at Charlotte at the start. Kind of like we do here at Atlanta. Not all hope is lost. I was just kind of talking theoretically wise, as if I were to finish 15th and Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, or Jeff Gordon were to win the race, we'll still be all right. I just know whatever happens here, it might be a little worse at Texas, just because Texas was the worst mile and a half for me this season. I think it was the only mile and a half track I didn't get a top 10 in the first go-around. I would like to be able to lead laps at some point in this race, at least get 5 bonus points. I don't know how I'm going to do that exactly this far back in the field. Especially with how free the car is. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay out longer than everybody else. It's definitely going to have to be a 4-tire stop. There's no way these tires are going to be able to hold on, even if I went rights only for an entire another run. This scares me, though, if we get any cautions, because then we're just going to have to deal with more traffic on restarts, and now that we're in the middle of the pack, it's probably going to be even more hectic. Probably going to be a 5-stop race today, if I had to guess. 3 wide. Off turn 4. We're only 4.2 seconds off the lead. So we're really not that far. If there were to be a run to short pit, it would probably be the first, in the sense that there's nobody a lap down right now, so if we were to catch a caution, we'd at least get the free pass. The option's out there. There's 2 more cars behind us that are slowly catching us. Then there's another gigantic gap to whoever 18th place would end up being. You definitely see this car wiggling a lot more center off specifically. It's free all the way around, but it gets worse middle off. That transition from the banking to the flatter straightaways, that's what's really getting me right now. Halfway through the fuel run. So we could probably go about 64. So if we go 64, 128, 192, 258. That would pretty much take us right on an even 4-stop race. I mean, that would take us almost all the way to the number. We went 64. maybe be a lap short on a run. Let that one be the last. Let's be patient. Try to take it to lap 64. And then we'll see. At least be in front of Harvick and Gordon. Well, Harvick I'm not worried about for the standings anymore. He had that engine failure a couple races ago. I think he's out of it. Joe Nemechek, Greg Biffle have caught up. Going to the outside. Gonna let him go. Trying. I tried to go to the outside to let him go, and it was still tight on the exit of the corner between the wall and the car to the inside. Scraped the wall. Luckily, I didn't make contact with Nemechek like I did with Busch when he tried to pass us earlier. $169. 169 points. That's the amount we can give up to Jeff Gordon in these final 4 races to win the title still. Is the car okay? No, it is not. It is loose. It is so loose, I just can't get back into the gas as soon as I want to. I'm not using all of the racetrack, so that's fine. I don't like that Greg Biffle caught past me, and now I'm about to pass him back. 6 seconds off the lead. Oh, clip the apron. That was a big moment right in the middle of 1 and 2 there. Felt like I was just closing in too much on corner entry there and Greg Biffle, and I wanted to still be able to carry as much speed as I could through the corner. It was either hit him or he clipped the apron. Luckily, when I clipped the apron, I didn't spin out. I don't feel like I'm dragging down the straightaways as badly as I usually would, and I think that's because the downforce is lower than what it usually would be, but it's definitely affecting the handling in the middle of the corner, which is overall affecting the speed. You know, on other tracks, I could kind of make up in the corners what I give up on the straightaways, but I'm not giving up as much on the straightaways, and I'm giving up way more in the corners today. His car is slowly tightening up over the long run. It's not as free as it was. So it's kind of interesting. Therefore, the car actually feels like it's getting a little bit better because of that. I can't hold the bottom through the corner. I mean, you can see me drifting up the track at both ends. Center of the corner. But I'd almost rather it be like that than be as wrecking loose as it is. It's not, I mean, it might sound a little over dramatic when I say wrecking loose because I'm not appearing to be that sideways, but I am having to fight the analog stick a little bit, which is never good. We're not on a dirt track. I should be moving it back and forth here and there. Try to keep the car under control. Yeah, Biffle's not having a good time of trying to keep up with Joe Nemechek. Running him back down. Looking to the inside of Biffle for 16th. Apron didn't actually hurt me as bad that time. It could have. Right front's going away. Up against the fence right in the middle of 1 and 2. Going to lose some ground. Yeah, it's kind of odd, but I do actually like the car better now than it was the first 30 or 35 laps of the run. I just feel like I have the car itself more under control than I did. And I spoke too soon. Here we go again. Caution's out at Atlanta. I caught the apron a couple times earlier, and they didn't do that, and it did it there. I was all over that white line. This is just like the start of the Charlotte race. Jeez. I can't pit for fuel or tires. We caused the incident there, so it's unfortunate. Highly unfortunate. We might end up being the leader. Mark Martin wins the race off pit road. Jeff Green, J.J. Yaley behind him, outside of us, of course, but green flag back in the air. We are not far away from our first stop. We're going to end up going a lap down. And this is almost identical to how the Charlotte race was going. Just got to hold on. About the wreck again. Yep. Gosh darn it. That's tough. Tough scenes here at Atlanta. Second yellow of the day. Almost 5 seconds of damage again. Tough start to the race. Tough start. I should have learned my lesson from Chicagoland earlier in the season to not have downforce out of the car. I did that there and I finished 17th and I was just wrecking sideways the whole race and I couldn't really get away from that. What is going on here? I can't keep the car straight getting up to speed. Get to 4th gear. Come on. Wow. That was bad. The wheels are just spinning on this thing. It got way worse after the spin, obviously. There's one car out of the race. Somebody blew an engine earlier. We're going to have to... I'm hitting pit road this time. I am not riding this out another lap again. Stay away from the white line. It sucks because that's the fastest way around the track, too. Car's so all over the place. Coming in. I'll lose my lap now. Maybe we'll get a caution, get the free pass. Got to put a little bit of air pressure into the car. A little wedge in. 2 pounds of PSI all the way around. 4 tire change. Wow. All right. Well. This race was okay at best. And then I spun. And then it got a whole heck of a lot worse. Very quickly. All right. Dave Blaney is 1 lap down. Mark Martin leads. And we are in the free pass position. We probably will be for a while. So 1 caution could get us at least back on the lead lap. Problem is the only 2 yellows we've seen so far I caused. So cautions have been very few and far between in the chase outside of Talladega. 9 yellows in that race. We've had 2 or less in the others. The other 6. 2 at Dover, 2 at Martinsville, and 1 at Charlotte. None at New Hampshire, none at Kansas. I would just have to stay 1 lap down. Not lose a second lap. It's still free. I'm surprised I didn't do that earlier in the race, to be completely honest, because the car was tightening up the longer the run went. Man, this car's broken. We might give all of our points up in 1 race. That put a lot more pressure on me at Texas, I mean. I'll suck it up and try to get like a top 15 finish out of it. Like, I'll take that. I can't finish this far deep in the field, though. There's a gigantic gap amongst a lot of cars and traffic, so I wonder if there was a near accident that might have taken place. Wish it was an actual accident so we can get back on the lead lap. I was not trying to do that. The car was so free on entry, it just wanted to turn on its own. A lot of racing left. Sure, we'll get a caution at some point. Might be 100 laps from now, but problem is with that, I probably wouldn't be in the free pass position anymore. That sun is glaring going off into turn 1, by the way. I'm trying not to look directly into it. I do feel Mark Martin's actually closing in on me, though. Look at this thing. Took the whole back straightaway to try to straighten that car back out. Way down lower than I should have been. It's all the way on the apron trying to catch that car. Good grief. Yeah, we're going to end up going 2 laps down here shortly. We need a caution in the worst way. Okay, FIBA, thanks for tuning in. Ugh. Little wall scrapage there off turn 2. I'm up against the fence. I'm down on the apron. Labonte Earnhardt 2000. Yep. Gordon Labonte 01. Edwards Johnson 06. Man, there were some great races. Great finishes here. I like Atlanta for what it is now. I just hope it doesn't start the trend of having a lot of the mile and a halves like that, because we don't need that. Especially with how good the car nowadays with the next gen is on the mile and a halves. Oh, yeah, you're right. It was 05 because it was Edwards' rookie season. Yeah, you got that right. I'm kind of just letting the car do whatever it wants in the corners at this rate because I cannot keep it in a straight line and pin it where I want to go. Here and there I can. I can drive it like a normal race car, but it's just so free I don't want to touch the analog stick as much as I possibly can. We did make adjustments on that first stop, but it doesn't feel like it helped anything. Actually, I'd almost argue it's worse now than it was before. I might went the wrong way. Oh, jeez. There's not going to be any way we can add downforce to this thing, unfortunately, so kind of stuck with what I had for that from the pre-race. We're a full lap behind everybody else too, so it's going to take a lot for us to catch up under green flag conditions. Probably have at least a few more drivers drop out of the race. Charlotte, we only had 5 DNFs and a 500-miler there. Usually in these 500-mile races on the intermediate tracks, we get quite a few DNFs. Like, we have had races we've had 9, 10, 11 DNFs on the season, so we might have to hope for one of those kinds of days today so we can kind of finish closer to 30th rather than 40th. Maybe pick up a few positions along the way. Can Dave Blaney survive 500 miles at Atlanta and hold on to the... Well, we are going to be the points leader no matter what happens. There's another car blowing up. That's a spot. So the 107 car is blowing an engine. Gets Blaney to 41st. It's our second one of the race. And our first since the last restart. Had 2 cautions so far in these first 80 laps. Too bad it didn't bring out a caution. We'd have so many yellows in these old EA games if those were cautions. Engine failures in the NASCAR Heat Series, those were yellows. But, yeah, not in the EA games. They didn't care what kind of fluid was on the track these days. Doesn't matter, we're racing through it. I know it was a 50% race earlier in the season, but I still don't understand how I ran as well as I did with the same car I started the race with here today. Keep yawning. Apologize if I'm making anybody else tired. Isn't that a thing where, like, you see somebody yawn and then you yawn too? Miss one-lane concrete Bristol. I don't mind Bristol with the multiple groove racing personally. I still like Bristol. I mean, it's still going to be... It's going to take a lot for it not to be my favorite track. You know, maybe if we had like 10 years of the next-gen racing there or something, maybe that would start to weigh my opinion in a different direction or something, but... Yeah, it'll still forever be my favorite racetrack. Yeah, it was a great race, great finish. Big win for Labonte. Got him one step closer to eventually winning that championship in 2000 as well. It's like the third time I think I've yawned already. It's only lap 87. That's not good. Man, I can't keep this car straight line. I've scraped the wall a handful of times already. This run alone. If I try to steer it harder away from the wall, I end up nearly spinning out. Wonder how many more laps are going to go before we go 2 laps down. I can see Mark Martin out of the rear view, just getting off the exit of turn 4 just before we get to the start-finish line. So we have maybe a half a straightaway on him at best. He's going to catch us before we catch anybody in front of us. You go 2 laps down, that's a death sentence. Still plenty of time. There is. We're still in the first 100 laps. Could always be worse. I could be out of the race by now. Oh, somebody else DNF too. When did I get to 40th? I thought I was still 41st. Well, we're in 40th then. 3 cars out of the race. This might be one of those races we have 9, 10, 11 DNFs for engine failures if we have 3 in the first 90 already. That's what I'm looking for. Hopefully it's Earnhardt, Johnson, or Gordon also. That we're not going to know for sure until we get to the finish. See the results. Well, we need a caution so we get this free pass. We're almost 2 laps down. But we're the only car off the lead lap, so we could get it. I'm going to drop the air pressure back down to... Probably going to make a major air pressure adjustment, honestly. Maybe keep the wedge where it's at for right now because I don't want to tighten it up too badly. At first run, it was growing more and more tight over the course of the run. I think it's growing more and more free this time around. Because we got about halfway through the fuel run earlier, and that's where it kind of tapered off. Field don't get a lot of love. I feel like Richmond doesn't get as much love as it probably should. And I could probably say the same for Michigan, but I feel like I'd be sounding like too much of a homer with that being my home track. I've always been an advocate that Pocono puts on better racing than most people tend to think. New Hampshire is another one of those tracks I've always felt like. I'd say New Hampshire more so has always been slept on over the years as being a pretty solid racetrack. And I think Pocono just gets too much hate over the years. There have been some bad races there, don't get me wrong, but most of the problems I feel like they've had at Pocono is more a package problem. I mean, the track itself sure doesn't lend to the greatest racing, but doesn't mean we still can't have quality races there. Need a caution like right now, yeah. No, we definitely do. I mean, we are probably less than 10 laps away from being passed by Mark Martin at this rate. Although they're probably going to have to pit sooner than us. I don't know how much sooner, but they'll buy us a little bit more time. The problem is they're going to have the fresher tires sooner. About 40 laps into this green flag run. Dave Blaney going to need a caution in the worst way. 164-point lead over Jeff Gordon. That could easily be down to a slim double-digit lead if Blaney can't get this car going back in the right direction. Been struggling with handling all race. We've only pitted once for tires and adjustments, but it is bad. We've spun out a couple times already. With as ill handling as the car has been, and that is why we are a lap down. But we are the only car a lap down. Everybody else is on the lead lap that's on track of the other 39. College Football 2025 ready to play. Enjoy, man. I just finished my second season. I was better than season one. I lost my bowl game again. I cannot win a bowl game. I lost to the SMU Mustangs, this time in the Holiday Bowl. The DirecTV Holiday Bowl. And I got stomped out pretty badly. I lost 24-14 that game. It was pretty ugly. I was pretty much down by like 2 scores almost the whole game. I really thought I was starting to get back in the right direction again. I beat Ohio State, slim margin, got back to the Big Ten title game, and if I would have actually won that game, I would have been in the playoffs. At least I'd like to think I would have been. 3-loss team, I probably wouldn't have had a bye, but would have been kind of like how Clemson got in this year. So I was ranked 15 going into that game, too. 14. Oh, yeah, it was 14. Playing Penn State, who only had 1 loss at the time. Lost 9-7. I've got a new quarterback playing for the next season. Hopefully he's better than Alex Orji. Somebody else is out of the race also. We're in 39th. So we've had 3 DNFs just since the last caution alone. 39th place for Dave Blaney. And he is about to go a lap down yet again. This will be a second lap down to Mark Martin. Maybe could have went around for a couple more laps, but I got up against the wall pretty badly down the back straightaway there. And his car's just way too free. Mark Martin's going to try to take the air off the rear spoiler of this thing. This is going to get way worse real quickly. At least Mark Martin's not a chase driver. Out here leading, trying to get his first win of the season. Last year in the 6th car, we go to NASCAR 08 and beyond. He is not going to be racing for Roush anymore. That'll be different for me in these games, seeing him in a not Roush car. Considering I haven't played any of the other games until the Heat Series. Elliott Sadler's in second. He's in the chase, but probably not championship contention anymore. Sorry, I'm stumbling on my speech here, too. I'm really not tired. I don't know why I'm acting as if I am. Or at least I wasn't before I started the stream, so I don't know what's going on there. So Dave Blaney is 2 laps down. So Martin Truex Jr. was out of the race earlier. And now it appears that Martin Truex Jr. is going to be back in the race as a slow car. Yep, he's just returning to the track now. Sadler's gaining ground on Martin. Both those two have pulled away from the rest of the field. There we go, clipping the apron again. Really, I mean, obviously I never try to. I'm not even trying to be aggressive with my line either. I'm just trying to do what I can to keep this thing under control. Third place a little ways back, but they are catching up to us. Can't tell who it is yet. I mean, we're 2 laps down now. I don't even know where we go from here. Not going to matter if we stay green the rest of the way anyway. Just going to have to ride it out. Now that we're 2 laps down, we're really in trouble. I don't even see how I'm going to get one of these laps back, let alone 2 of them. We've got cars hitting pit road. Elliott Sadler on his way down right now. Maybe Mark Martin pits next and we catch a quick caution and get our free pass that way. Although we're going to have some other cars a lap down, but at least we got one of our 2 laps back if that were to happen. And there would be other cars a lap down with us. So at least for positional sake, we can get some spots that way. I'm going to pit this time, try to short pit on Martin, see if we could cycle out in front of him that way. I doubt it, but it's worth a try. Jeff Green closing in, so I guess he's in third. Get restart around there, and we're coming in. I think Jeff Green is too. That's a pretty solid pit road entry. Second stop of the day from 2 laps down. This race blows. You know, I'm starting to wonder why I was feeling a little tired. I was good to go at the start of the stream. I think it's because I ate a full meal like right before I started this thing. Had some leftover Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes, green beans. Getting up to speed is the worst on this track. The wheels are just spinning forever. We got fresh tires back on the thing. It doesn't feel like it, but we do. Jimmy Johnson cycled out ahead of us, and he was even further behind us. 3 laps down for now. We'll be 2 laps down once everybody cycles through their stops. So Johnson started on the pole. He has led today. Dale Jr. led for a little bit as well. And now Kevin Harvick leads. Those are the only 3 chase drivers that have led a lap so far in the race. Not to mention, Dale Jr. and Jimmy Johnson got a free 5 bonus points, even though they didn't actually lead a lap yesterday at Martinsville. That could go a long way. Dave Blaney having his issues here today. Jeff Gordon just led his first lap of the race, so second in points. That's 5 bonus points for him. Now, we did technically get 5 bonus points in this race with staying out of the pits that first yellow. I had to. I couldn't take fuel or tires because they caused the incident. So, I mean, at least we were able to get a lap led because of that. Although we have not led a green flag lap yet in this race. And here's Martin Truex Jr. we're closing in on. At least if we stay in the race, we're already ahead of him, so he's not going to catch up to us. Jeff Gordon's back on pit road, so we've just unlapped ourselves from one of our 3 laps. Stay off the apron. My goodness, it's easier said than done. For anybody watching, if you only knew what I was dealing with by way of car handling. I think a lot of people would rage quit by now, but we don't do that here. We finish this out. We ride this thing out as much as we can. By far the most broken race car we've had this season. Chicagoland was pretty bad too, but at least I finished 17th that day. Like, I mounted to something. We were at the very tail end of the lead lap, but which honestly could have been today if I had not spun. That probably would have been a similar circumstance. I mean, we were in 16th, 17th at that time anyway. Towards the end of the first run. We just need cautions at this point. I know I'm not in the free pass position anymore, but we got to get off strategy. We've got to do something. We need just cautions. A few of them. Spice things up a little bit. Allow me to keep working on the car. Instead of having to grind it out a full 50, 60 laps before doing anything. Three wide racing going on further up ahead. They're not wrecking though. Far enough behind them, I should be able to miss it. Slowing some cars down, you know, over time. What can I do to try to catch Mark Martin? Try to get this lap back and then get a caution. I feel better about myself because we are the only car 2 laps down. Just ran our fastest lap, 29.586. If I could just hold a steady wheel, I feel like I get speed out of it. I've actually managed my gap over Kurt Busch since leaving pit row. We haven't gotten passed by anybody the last several laps. But it just gets worse and worse the longer the run goes. When you start to fade quicker. We might have to go right sides only or something. If we stay green long enough to try to find a way to cut into that gap on Mark Martin at least. We're going to fight. Always have. We shall not die. .517, fastest lap of the race. Really pulling Kurt Busch now. They didn't really make any adjustments that last stop either. Just getting better at driving the car, maybe. It's taking 123 laps, but maybe I'm starting to find out how to drive this loose race car. Passing's going to be difficult because I haven't done that yet today. Wow, 29.288 that last lap. What a lap. Truex might be slowing this pack of cars up just ahead of us, too. Hard to tell for sure. Oh, yeah, he definitely is. He's in it. He's holding Jimmy Johnson up a ton. Whoa, David Stremme. Whoa. Truex on his lid. The heck was that? That dude flipped. He broke physics. It's like a splitter just dug into the ground and flipped forward while still driving forward. I don't know what that was. Truex caused that wreck. He was holding up Johnson while we were nearly 3 wide behind Jimmy, well behind him, entering the corner. What is he doing, man? Get out of the way. He was like right in the middle of the racetrack on the back straightaway. Then he was all over the bottom of the track after that. There's no way he's still in the race. Well, we were involved in the incident, so I can't make any adjustments. We got 7.4 seconds of damage because of that. That's insane. Third yellow of the day. We were caught up in all of them. That's not the caution we needed. We can't be getting caught up in them because I can't go off strategy. That was all Truex. I mean, he's so slow. He's got to be out of the race now. I mean, the dude was out earlier and then rejoined. He's not even in the chase. I really don't understand why he's in this thing. And there he is. One of those cars we were battling with 3 wide did get the free pass there. Green flag back in the air here at Atlanta. Mark Martin's still the leader. Harvick's the only, well, Harvick and Sadler are the only chasers in the top 10. Truex needs to get the F out of the way. My gosh, look at that. He's stalling so many cars up on that outside. I don't like being on the outside lane. Now with as free as the car is. Man, we were doing so well there, finally. Harvick did the lead on the restart, by the way. He did get by Mark Martin. Second time Harvick's led today. First time not counting in the middle of green flags pit stops that he has led. I'm still the only car 2 laps down, so we can't pass anybody for position. Playing as Dave Blaney for the season, Earl. Oh, you're talking to Billy. Never mind. My bad. Gordon might get hung up behind the 40, the 41. He did not. Wow, Martin lost a lot of spots on the restart. He's back to 5th. Was leading. Maybe Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon could drive up here and there's just some way that we can follow them. Truex still in the race after dropping an engine earlier and then flipping later. That car's still running. But he is so far off the pace. FC's been over. That's tough. Tough scene there. Michael Turner, thanks for tuning in. Double ear infection. Ouch. I had one of those back when I was younger. I was a kid. Wasn't fun. It felt like there was like water. You dive like into water and you get water in your ears. It felt like there was like water in my ears for like a week. Everything was so plugged up. I was really young when that happened. I was probably kindergarten, 1st grade, and never had one since. Still don't even know how I got it. Felt like I was starting to lose Gordon and Johnson a little bit. Once Jimmy caught up to the back of the 6 car, might be holding them up just a little bit again. About 190 laps to go here at Atlanta. 39, 2 laps down for Dave Blaney. The only car 2 down. Everyone, the first 2 were our fault. The last one was not. And Truex is about to stack up these leaders too, so we're starting to lose these guys in front of us. I think we'll start to catch back up very shortly. See if Harvick holds on to the lead through all this. Harvick getting slowed up a ton right off the exit of turn 2. You got a couple of rows of cars going side by side. And as we get to the back straightaway, here comes the 22 of Dave Blaney. Going to get to the inside of Mark Martin. Pass made on him cleanly. Hopefully Truex causes another wreck that we're not involved in. Martin's going to end up getting back around us. Elliott Sadler leads, by the way. He did pass Kevin Harvick. And a 29-2. Before that last caution, we hurt the tire so badly with that slide. Felt like I was really starting to settle in finally. I do feel Truex owes me one, though. Covered a fumble through an interception. I do feel like I throw a lot of interceptions in this NCAA game. I'll go a handful of games without throwing one, and then I'll have a game where I throw like 3 of them in the same game. Like, what is going on? I have to do a lot of dink and dunk offense. Sometimes it works, depending on what kind of defense I'm playing. But if they play a good zone defense against me, it's really hard to get guys open. Even for that. Get some catches, get like 3 yards here, 4 yards there, but it's tough. You just gotta hope I like break out a long run or something. Somebody sheds an early tackle. One of those dump off routes. Inside curl. Way on the brakes, right in the middle of the corner. Getting tight running in line here, right behind Mark Martin. He's mimicking my line like we're battling for position. I'm 2 laps off of the guy. I'm keeping pace with him at least. Only a few laps away from catching Truex again. We're going to catch this guy like every dozen laps or so. Yeah, very first game that I played, when I mentioned that I lost to Bowling Green State University, I lost 40-38 in 3 overtimes. And that was probably the best offensive performance I think I've had even to this point. But defensively, I couldn't play defense. Now my defense is a lot better, but I'm like 1 or 2 games a season, I could put up 30 points, and that's about it. 5-minute quarters, of course. Smart Tricks Jr. holding up the leaders. Kevin Harvick back out in front of Elliott Sadler yet again. Oh, Martin trying to squeeze us off. He gets picked behind the one car instead. It does sting a little bit that we are at least keeping the leaders within sight, even if Harvick's slowing them down once every 12 laps just a bit. But position-wise, we're in 39th, 2 laps down. Took the air off the left rear just a little bit off turn 2 that time. Closing the gap on Jeff Green. Mark Martin in the 6th, still hanging around. Big moment. Got really tight, way out of the gas. Mark Martin going to get by. And then some. Jeff Gordon back in the lead. Second time today. What a big win it would be for Gordon. Undefeated streak for the Chase is very much in jeopardy here today. It would take one of the utmost miracles to pull this thing out. It's going to be a miracle at this rate just to finish in the top 30. Dale Jr., Kurt Busch closing in. Definitely going to end up getting by. Kurt Busch to the inside. Kurt gets through. Dale Jr. still just behind. Have got, and I mean got to stay out of trouble at Texas. We bailed ourselves out at Charlotte, but we're not bailing ourselves out here today under the same mishap that we had at the start of that race. The difference is this car is so much worse handling-wise in Charlotte. And no matter what adjustments we've made today, it just hasn't gotten better. Catching Dale Jr. Truex pick a lane. He starts on the bottom of the racetrack and then doesn't go to the outside until guys start slowing down when they get closer to him. Actually got in the back of Dale Jr. just a little bit there. Barely able to get by Jeff Green as well as Earnhardt. For now. Can't win them all. That is very true. I don't even care about necessarily winning this thing. I just want a good finish. We cannot afford to finish this far back in the pack with 2 more mile-and-a-half tracks left this season. It really is a miracle we won both Kansas and Charlotte. And the way in which we won Talladega. Dover we should have won, but it was a lot harder on ourselves because it ended up being a fuel mileage race. Again, we will still be the points leader no matter what happens today, but we don't want to only be the points leader by a little bit. Can't depend on Phoenix. Yeah, I mean, I can depend on it in the sense that I should win that race, but we've got 2 other races left after tonight outside of those 2 to try to go wire to wire through the chase with the points lead, and that's Texas and Homestead. I'm really, really hoping Homestead's more like a Kansas for us where I can go out, lead the most laps, and win, but we're not going to know until we show up with whatever kind of car we have. In Texas, we finished 11th earlier this season, didn't lead a single lap. Lucky to lead any laps here today. It was only because we didn't pit the first stop under the cautions. Back around lap 40. Had 3 yellows. You know, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you just got to look in the mirror and say to yourself, I'm a failure, and today I'm a failure. So, tell you what, man, reality can hit you real quick. Went from winning the first 6 races of the chase to this. We didn't need this. I was hoping to just coast into a championship, but nope. Game just had to make it more difficult than it seemed to be. We should have pit stops coming up pretty soon. Might be able to make it on just 2 more. Should be able to make it on 2 more stops. Get Kyle Petty championship in NASCAR 08. Well, I know who your boat's going to be then. Yeah, I don't even know the full driver lineups for those games. I mean, I can assume based off of what I remember from the 2007 season growing up, but not playing those games, I'd have to go back through it. Like, I definitely wouldn't know all the Truck and Busch Series lineup. But imagine there can't be that much changeover from what this game has. Obviously, some drivers are in different rides. Okay, so Jamie McMurray, who blew an engine earlier, also coming back out onto the track. So same situation as Truex. Both drivers not in the chase, so it is kind of interesting that they're doing this. So they still try to get the best points finish they possibly can. Best finish in the race they possibly can. Closing in on Kevin Harvick again. Or sorry, not Harvick, Truex. Wrong black car. Went to the bottom of the track, we had to pass him up high. It would be NASCAR 09. Busch should be in the 18. So it would be the 2008 season. Tony Raines creeping in again. Tony Raines might end up with another top 10 finish on a mile and a half, just like he did at Charlotte where he finished 7th. I mean, I'm just going to let him go at this point. What is the point of battling anybody? Well, we're not battling any of these cars for position. Might be able to stay out of the pits just a little bit longer. Maybe catch a yellow. I hope we do. I really hope we do. In the middle, green flag stops. That's the only way we're going to get any laps back. I think Lowe's should return to NASCAR. They'll get out of it necessarily. But as a fan, I mean, a lot of these old sponsors from yesteryear, I mean, I wish that they would come back. It would help fund, you know, the sport that I love. So for that reason, you know, I wish they would come back. I wish a lot of these big corporate, especially like the big, gigantic corporate franchises that are in the U.S., I think that probably is more appealing sponsorship-wise to normal fans. What kind of, like, why was he crowding us that badly up the corner? Biffle just messed my whole lap up. Getting air loose on the front stretch. What is this? I get a car behind me in the middle of a straightaway and the thing's still sideways. I don't like how Biffle raced me, though, that last lap. That was kind of uncalled for. Ryan Pete, thanks for tuning in. Do it for Kyle. Here's McMurray. Don't think Harvick's pit quite yet. Yeah, not to mention, yeah, that is true. Biffle ran me like that, then he pitted the next lap anyway. We're not battling for position. I'm literally in the process of, like, letting faster cars go. I mean, he had plenty of room to the inside. It's up against the wall, and then he ran me so tight, and I couldn't keep it off of him or the wall. I need more room with how bad the car is. Even check, gonna get back by. Really light on the fuel load right now. Still 2 laps down. Not everybody has pit. Probably going to have to go right side tires only just for the sole sake of trying to fight still. I mean, 150 laps to go this time by. Mythic Gamer, thanks for tuning in. We're going to pit right now. I don't know how much further I was going to be able to make it. All right, well, we're in. I'm just going to take 4 tires. 4 tires are going to drop the air pressure down a couple pounds all the way around. So we just continue to make adjustments on this thing. I'm trying everything I can. All boils down to I should have had more downforce in it at the start, even if I was giving up even more speed. It's better than running. Oh, geez, and we got a mistake. Who ran into the catch can, man? Looked like the tire changer. How long was this? Oh my gosh, this is such a long pit stop. My timer was blocked by my laptop. I didn't see the exact time on it. We were down there for a while. 21 and a half. Oh, geez. I got loose on the apron. I got loose on the apron, and then I got clobbered from behind when I came back up on the track. I was trying to let those guys go. Now I'm probably going to be even more loose with the damage on the back of the car. This race is like... Stupid stuff just cannot stop happening. Harvick's finally pitting from the lead. .21.5 pit stop. Playing as Dave Blaney for this season. We're 38. Somebody else blew an engine. I didn't know if that was a spot we gained just because of green flag pit stops. It was not. Somebody else is out of the race. So we're 38th now. We've outlasted a few drivers. And the 132 who's coming out of the pits. Wasn't able to clear him. Catching up to Martin Truex Jr. again. At least I got out of that. Truex and McMurray are like evenly spaced across the racetrack too. So we're 2 laps down. Am I leading the points? Yes, I am. 164 points ahead of Jeff Gordon, but Gordon's leading the race. With less than 150 to go, we're in 38th. It's going to be tight again. Oh my gosh. We're blowing it so badly. I had no nerves coming into this race, and I have more nerves thinking about the next 3 races than I ever expected to leaving today's race. I don't care where I run at Texas, we're putting downforce in the thing. I cannot have another race like this, where the car's just so wrecking loose the whole 500 miles. We have another race like this, we're going to lose the championship. Like, we get one get out of jail free card, and that's because I was fortunate enough to win the first 6. This is my get out of jail free card. Victor's trying to pass us on the outside. If they have the speed to do it, I'd prefer them to pass me up there than down on the bottom. Catching Jamie McMurray. He went from the bottom to the top of the track and just completely cut whoever that was that passed him. He's like right in the middle of the straightaway too. Get into Homestead with the points lead, and at least we control our own destiny there. You know, the bare minimum, we leave Texas within 15 points of Jeff Gordon. Because I know I can lead the most laps and win Phoenix. Bare minimum, within 15 points of Gordon, even if Gordon's leading after Texas. Because I know I could get those 15 points back at the very least at Phoenix. That would be if Gordon were to lead, finish second, we lead the most laps and win. Then we'd be tied going into Homestead with the tiebreaker. So we control our own destiny. Then it's just a matter of beating the 24. And, I mean, again, Jimmy Johnson and Dale Jr., they're going to be right back in it again as well. I said it was a 4-car race for the championship. And it definitely is if those two continue to just at least stay in the race, because they were both up in the top 10. They both led today. So they've each gotten 5 bonus points. Jeff Gordon, if he leads the most laps, he hasn't led the most right now, but if he leads to the end, he will definitely lead enough to be able to do that. And that could be a max points day. It would be the second time, actually, in the chase that Gordon's led the most. So he led the most laps at Charlotte in the last mile and a half, but finished 4th. At 122 laps that day. Ryan Vickers getting by Dave Blaney. Martin Truex Jr. parking it right in the middle of the front stretch. Stayed wider than McMurray did, I guess. There could still probably be a couple more drivers to drop out of the race. Let's get a caution, please. Any time. The sooner, the better. Like, let me get off of strategy. Give me a chance to get back on the lead lap. We catch a caution, I'm pitting. Because I'd imagine everybody can make it on one more stop. So if we're not in the final fuel window, they're not going to pit. At least allow me to go off strategy. Had I not spun earlier in the race, been involved in any of the incidences, we literally wouldn't have had a caution. Again. This would be the 3rd caution-free chase race. In the outside lane, Jeremy Mayfield going to clear us. Ryan Vickers in the 25 is on the bottom. But not the cause. Well, obviously. Yeah, we can't DNF still, especially with McMurray and Truex back in the race. They're not going to catch me for position, but they would if I were to wreck out. They'd probably make up enough laps so we'd actually finish 40th. DNF'd in the Daytona 500. That's the only race that we have not finished this season. Trying to set the average record for the best average finish on a season, too. 5.6 was our average finish coming into the race today. Or, sorry, no, that was yesterday. 5.4 coming into the race today. 7.3 is the number to beat. We finish outside the top 30. That number is going to drop quite a bit. I'm out of the gas so much because they checked up so much. I was really doing the best I could to not make contact with anybody there. Apparently I lifted more than them because they pulled me still. You know, the more we go, it might be a two-stop race the rest of the way, actually. I was thinking it was going to be one more stop. I don't know if we can get to about 64 to go, which is about how far we can go on fuel. 64, maybe 65. Had to switch to classic passing. Yeah, I read that right. Classic passing system. Old Atlanta was the best track in NASCAR history. Which old Atlanta? You talking like this version that we're racing on today, or the other version? Like the 90s and before version? I'd honestly argue that the 90s track was a little bit better. They were both great in their own retrospect, though. Yeah, this was the best mile-and-a-half track for a long time. This Atlanta, through the years of all the cookie-cutter mile-and-a-half tracks, honestly thought Atlanta was the best. Fast. Even in its early days, they put on such great races, even if it was just a single groove racetrack. Which is really crazy if you think about it, because that would tend to not really happen nowadays. Under a similar circumstance, the last few generations of car. But that goes to show how good the Gen 4 car was on these kinds of tracks, too. Yeah, I think we're 2 pit stops out from the finish. Yeah, I think the 4 races that distinctively come to mind when you think of this version of Atlanta, you think of 2011 Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, the Earnhardt-Labonte race we were talking about earlier from 2000, the 01 race with Harvick and Gordon, and then the 05 race with Johnson and Edwards. And those are the 5, or the 4, excuse me, that you think of when you think of Atlanta. Yeah, this goes green the rest of the way. We're going 3 laps down. No doubt in my mind that that would end up happening. Frickin' Jamie McMurray. I could have done a little bit better job to avoid him. There was nobody around me, but I was closing in on him so quickly. I just didn't know where he was going. They don't stay in the same lane. They're just all over the place. And even Robbie Gordon's catching and passing me. That's how you know I'm slow. Robbie Gordon passing us. They've got to be the slowest car out here outside of the two cars that are down a cylinder of Truex and McMurray. At least we're way quicker than them. Still got over 100 to go. I definitely don't think we've seen the last DNF. The accidents didn't help, for sure. As bad as this car is, though, who knows if it would have just went green the whole way because we haven't had a caution. Otherwise, I might have ended up not finishing on the lead lap and far back at the back of the pack anyway. Honestly. Got back by Robbie Gordon, Martin Truex Jr. holding them up. Like the speed out of it, it's possible. I mean, I thought I had more speed earlier. We were kind of battling Biffle for a very brief moment for about 15th in the first run, and we had only fallen back to 16th, 17th place before that first spin. The car is so bad handling, it's taking a lot of speed out of it. I just can't be on the gas as much as I want. Having to lift more like I just did there. Through the middle of 1 and 2. We'll hope for better at Texas. Which was not a good run for me the first time around earlier in the season. I'm scared to look at the point standings after this race. Jeff Gordon goes on to win. Gordon gets to me. I'm not letting him by like I am with these other guys. You know, I'm going to hope that somebody can catch and pass him. Maybe he loses a spot or two, because that's going to matter. So a 10-point difference between first and second. 5 points per position after that. Through the rest of the top 5. Robbie Gordon catching up again. Got so loose getting into turn 1 there. I'm not going to wreck him. I'm going to run like I am right now and hope he doesn't get by me quickly. After Robbie Gordon, there's only one more car in between us and Gordon. Got a little over a half a straightaway gap. Might still be about a dozen or more laps before Gordon catches us. Unless I make a big mistake and have a big drop off in lap time one of these times. side by side with Robbie Gordon for almost that whole last lap. Heading back clear again. Here comes McMurray. Jamie staying out of the way this time on both the 7 and the 22. Yeah, if we got a caution right now, everybody would probably pit. I don't think anybody's going to make this race on one more stop. I was doing my calculations wrong from when we made the last stop, so we still have 2 more pit stops left in this race for the rest of the field here, as we're still up over 100 laps to go. Because we are 2 laps down, we kind of have to think that we're technically at lap 219 and not 217. Again, Robbie Gordon to the outside. Blaney pulled him back on that bottom lane and clear again off turn 2. Well, at least me and Robbie Gordon are similar on speed. You know, it feels like I'm racing somebody when I'm really not. Catching the 1 car of Truex again. Gordon checking up as we catch the 1 car off the exit of turn 4. Maybe slows down Gordon a little more, buys me more time. Longer we can stay 2 laps down. You know, it's just better, just in case somebody else goes 2 laps down. Which I don't think anybody else is at this point. There has to be quite a few drivers 1 lap down at the very least. I mean, we've gone over 100 laps since the last caution. So at some point, if we could just get a lap back, we're not going to be able to even have a chance at that unless we are able to get off strategy. The cautions could be good in the sense that Jeff Gordon could lose the lead on a restart too. So although it might not help us by way of our finishing position, it could open up an opportunity for Gordon to lose spots, especially if it's a really late race yellow. Maybe he loses spots on pit road. Could be a possibility too. Started pulling away from Robbie Gordon. Kind of made a bit of a mistake that time. In turns 3 and 4. Get a rhythm back again. Gordon's got a big gap, though, to anybody behind him. From what it looks like on the track map. I guess there's 1 car. There's 1 car around Jeff Gordon. That's it. And that could be a lap car. It might not even be a lead lap car. Only finish that was worse than this was 41st at Watkins Glen earlier in the year. By far the worst finish in the chase. Anything but a win would be the worst finish for us in the chase. We could have finished second and it would have been the worst. Our 6-0 streak. Even just, I mean, not just the fact that it started the chase this way, but the fact that we won 6 races in a row. Like, that is so hard to do. I don't know that I've done that before. I probably won 5 in a row at some point. 6? 6 wins in a row? What a ridiculous stretch. I didn't even realize my right rear was in the red. The damage indicator. I don't remember that. I want to blow a fuel cell. I'm not sure if Gordon's going to catch us before we have to pit or not again. It's getting close. We got to get by McMurray and Truex cleanly the next time because we'll catch them before Gordon catches us. We're pulling Robbie Gordon up until a few laps ago. Murray just drifting up off the bottom. Big power slide off the exit turn 2. Staying in the gas, though. Pull Robbie Gordon. Now you got to hold Jeff Gordon back there for me, Jamie. Hold Jamie, baby. He's holding him back. Right through the middle of 3 and 4. Just a little bit. Not much. At least I got through him without having to check up. The one of Truex is coming up here soon. I think he is. Well, he's definitely going to be the next car. Down 47-14. Ouch, that was quick. Feels like it wasn't that long ago. You were up 7-3. I didn't even realize Jeff Gordon passed Robbie Gordon. He's within a couple car lengths behind us. Got to drift to the outside to get by Truex in the 1. Truex going to hold Jeff Gordon up just a little bit longer there down the back straightaway. And actually, Robbie Gordon's going to get back by the 24 again. Okay, that buys us more time. Thank you, Truex. Come on, can we get a caution here? Just to keep me 2 laps down. Just for pride at this point. It's not really even racing for anything anymore. Got cars pitting. Jeremy Mayfield just pitted. For pride alone. Gordon in the middle of passing Robbie Gordon through turns 3 and 4. See, like, Robbie's got to be 2 laps down now behind us. So he'd be on the same lap as us, too. At least I know we have similar speed. There are more positions to be had if we get a caution. We're not the only one 2 laps down anymore. Going well over 100 laps in between cautions. This car's getting way free. Look at this. That's not good. That's going to slow me down a lot. Here comes Gordon. What was that, man? I got so loose right in the middle of the front stretch. I hate when I'm like turning in the kinks on the front stretch and I'm getting loose there. That's how you know how evil this car is. Big slide. And there goes Gordon. Pit. Is he going to pit? Oh, man. I thought there was a chance he was going to pit there. When did I start pulling away from Robbie Gordon? Stuff like that happens. Well, now we're 3 laps down again. I'm going to go right sides only on this next stop. Put more wedge into the car to try to tighten it up a bit. So I can cycle in front of Jeff Gordon in the hopes that we catch a caution. Got to cycle all the way through. J.J. Yaley on the inside of Jeff Gordon, opening up an opportunity here for Dave Blaney to get back underneath him. Blaney on the inside of the 24, but he's not going to be able to pass him. How much longer is Jeff Gordon going to stay out of the pits? Big run again for Dave Blaney. J.J. Yaley's battling the heck out of him. Yaley's on fresher tires than Gordon. I think that's why he's able to do what he's doing right now, and it's holding Gordon up enough. I got a bumper out in front of him and we caught like the quickest yellow. That would be awesome. So we're going to have to pit here in a few laps. I'm still going rights only. Oh, McMurray. Big block by Gordon. I'm so sideways. I'm about to wreck. Oh, I'm going to slide up right into the back of McMurray. I lost so much time because of that. Not only the slide, but I happened to slide right up behind the 26 of all drivers. All things that could have happened there. A whole slew of cars behind me. I'm pitting this time. Oh, we got Gordon pitting too. Yeah, I'm definitely pitting. Big slide, big slide, big. Lock it down. There we go. Okay, we gained a little bit of ground on him. Top up of fuel, right side tires only. I'm going to have to repair the damage. We're going to put a half around a wedge into the car. I got to cycle out in front of him. I'm battling, guys. I'm not giving up. This is for pride at this point. Never give up, just like John Cena. Oh, he still beat us out of the pits. How does he have that much quicker of a pit stop and we go right side tires only? How does that make sense? We were right behind him. Look at how far he came out ahead of us. Like, it's not even close. It's not like he barely beat us out of the pit. I mean, he's got to be like 5 or 6 seconds ahead of us. And he took 4. This car's still sideways. Which, I mean, could have figured with the old lefts, but... Oh my gosh. Go, Dale. Stop being such a bitch. Gas is on the right. If I wasn't nicer, I would have wrecked you. Just because. Even though you didn't really deserve it. That's how frustrated I am. We're about to see exactly where Jeff Gordon's at on the track map compared to us. 3 laps down. Look at how far he is. He's like a third of a track ahead of us. Well, maybe not a third. About a quarter. A quarter of a track. We were right on his back bumper entering pit road. How does that happen when we only take 2 tires? This should have been the other way around. Like, practically thinking, oh, Johnson's getting held up a ton here. He's going to lose a spot to Dale Jr. Whoa, they almost hit each other. They almost wrecked. I just needed caution in the worst way. Get me off strategy. For the love of all humanity. This is such a painful race. It just, like, it's one thing that adds on to another that just makes this so much more frustrating than what it was before. It's like it's already bad and then just gets worse. Even when you think it can't get any worse, it still gets worse. Nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing has gone our way. How do we not get cautions anymore? This wasn't the case in the regular season. Like, what happened in the first half of the season where we'd get at least one caution every race? We get into the second half of the season, it's like we don't get cautions anymore. I don't know what the difference was there. Outside of Talladega, but that was super speedway. You know, we could have figured that. Just watch us go into Texas tomorrow. We'll probably have the same thing. This guy won't get off my ass. Get me arrow loose. Crazy thing is I can't get anybody. Well, I guess I could get them arrow loose if I intimidate them. Will they wreck that way? Wreck for me. Wreck for me. He ain't wrecking. I think we're catching a slow car. Can't tell. Yeah, oh yeah, we are. Who is that up there? Oh, it's not a slow car. It's just Paul Menard. He's slow, but not like the 26 and the 1. We got 90 laps to go. Well, we're 3 laps down, technically, and then we're going to get to the line. We're going to have 86 laps to go. I'm literally going to be the only cause of the cautions. Just like Charlotte. I caused 1. It was the only yellow. Caused 3 here. Only yellows. Well, I didn't cause the last one, but I was in it. Probably, if I wasn't there, probably wouldn't have happened. Sadler's been caught by the 8 and the 48 here. Is Paul Menard randomly a position? Probably not. I don't think I'll ever catch it past anybody for position. They'd probably have to completely drop out of the race for that to happen. Well, here's McMurray. Making things interesting. Oh, they're going to be 3 wide up off turn 4. Oh, they didn't run. Oh, boy. Sadler got out of shape there a little bit. I don't think he made contact with either car, but he was bobbing and weaving. I thought he was going to clip the 48. That's 2 title contenders right in front of us, too. The 48 and the 8. Issues tackling in the game. Yeah, it's not tackling for me. It's more like in the secondary and giving up big plays. I pretty much like don't switch to the secondary players as much as I can and just focus on pass rushing because I can play zone defense, but I can't play man-to-man with actually controlling. I'll admit I just suck at it right now. Just like I suck in this race. By the way, me getting upset at this thing, I'm going to say it's more for comedy relief. Is it irritating? Yes, but I don't actually, like, mean it. I find it more for the hilarity side of things. I kind of do the same thing when I'm watching my Packers play or something. Like, if I'm cussing at the TV, I'm doing it out of the hilarity of the situation and not because I'm actually mad, because I don't let it get to that. So if it ever seems like I'm frustrated like today, just know I am frustrated, but not to the extent I'm actually portraying. I still try to be at least as lighthearted as I can be. Getting so side. Crew chief car a little loose? No. I'm doing that on purpose. That was the dumbest question he could have asked. Been loose for 253 laps. I can't believe I'm air loose on the straightaways though. I know it's happened before, but it still mind boggles me every time when I have a loose car that something like that can happen. Honestly, it did that on the back straightaway once earlier, and I'm not even turning on the back straight. So weird. It literally feels like the back tire is getting picked up off the ground. Watch us finally get a caution with like 2 laps to go or something ridiculous like that. Honestly, at this rate, I really don't think we're going to get a yellow. It's going to be a one-stopper the rest of the race. We're just going to have to deal with it. I'm going to take lefts only on the final stop. Just because the rights are only going to have to go about an extra 20 or so, but I took rights only on the last one. I might have actually gained a little bit of ground on Jeff Gord. I mean, I'm past Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson. Maybe he's gotten held up enough by the 1 and the 26. Because I don't feel that I'm as far behind as I once was. I'm not going to catch him. Like, I'm still going to finish 3 laps down. I don't think we're going to have to worry about losing another lap. 7 interceptions in one game. That's tough. 3 in the red zone. That's also tough. Yeah. I did do the classic passing right from the get-go, so although I throw more interceptions, I definitely wouldn't do anything like that in a game. I've thrown 3 in a game twice, though. And I'll finish the season with, like, 10 interceptions. But over half of them were in 2 games, so I don't feel as bad for myself. I was thinking I passed Johnson already. I did not. He's actually ahead of us still. I'm hoping Sadler can get up to him and pass him just because, again, we are battling Johnson and Earnhardt as much as we're battling Gordon, especially now with us running as badly as we are. I got arrow loose at the 8 right on the left rear. Not trying to do that. I really don't know how I didn't overcorrect it and hit the wall. I still stayed in front of him. Granted, he got held up behind McMurray. Nobody else of us around him did. Yeah, I haven't even tried the new passing. I didn't want to do it. For one, I didn't know exactly what the classic passing was, because I'm like, how classic is classic? Because most recent game on NCAA I played was 11. Like, are we talking in classic, like, back to 14, or are we talking 2006, which I also have? Like, what are we looking at? I just saw somebody hit pit road, by the way, so we might get another position here in a couple laps. I would imagine that's going to be an engine failure, because we're right around the window to make it on field to the end, I guess, but we didn't have pit stops that long ago. Like, we're not even halfway out of gas yet. My good luck Packers jersey wasn't good luck today. Oh, no, never mind. This car is leaving pit road. Oh, it's Truex. Well, I got my hopes up. I thought somebody else blew an engine. Dang it. I guess they got a pit too. He'll be good on field to the end then. Pretty close to it. These left side tires are taking such a beating. We've been in 38th for a long time, too. It's probably been almost 100 laps since the last car that's exited from the race. I said at that time, with how early we still were in the race when we had this many guys out, I'm like, man, we might get to about 10, salvage like a 34th place finish or something like that. Now I'm starting to think that that's not going to happen. They just weren't staggered out as much as they usually are. I still think we're going to get at least one more, though. We'll take anything we can get. Wreck Robbie. Guess he's not intimidated enough. That's my smoke on the back straightaway, by the way. That's not somebody else's. Most of those skid marks on the back straightaway are probably mine. Wreck Robbie. He's just not wrecking. I had to run on him. I'm scared to pass him. He gets held up enough, I'll pass him, but that's going to be about it. I wonder, I mean, David Stremme and Reed Sorensen should be pretty close on the same lap as me. I don't know if they're going to be 2 down or 3 down when we catch them, though. Just because I don't remember passing them. Well, no, we did pass them real early. But at the same time, I think that was before the 3rd caution. And then they restarted ahead of me. But then I passed them back on the restart. So there's a chance we can actually pass a couple of cars for a legitimate position. I'm trying to intimidate Robbie Gordon. It's just not happening. Toughest guy in the garage. What's intimidating about Dave Blaney? Or me. I feel like I'm the least intimidating person I know. Although there's like some people that say I have a resting bitch face though, so I mean, I guess that could be intimidating if you don't know me well enough. I'm really a nice guy. I mean, I am not a fighter. I always joke around saying I've never lost a fight because I've never been in a fight. Undefeated. I'll forever be undefeated. I don't put myself in those situations. We did just pass Stremme for position there. Wow, there's actually other cars that are at speed that are well slower than us. Alright, so we passed David Stremme. That means I should be able to get Sorensen at some point. We're up to 37. This is why we grind. That's 3 points. That is 3 more points. Menard could be another one. It's going to be a long time if we catch him. Menard, Sorensen. Sorensen still in the race. Those are guys we can catch. That could get us a top 35. I mean, that's 6 more points. That's worth it. 56 to go. 53 with being 3 laps down. Gordon gets to the line. It'll be 52 laps to go here at Atlanta. Martin Truex Jr. up towards the outside lane, really holding up Sadler and Dale Jr. We're going to get by the 38 of Sadler down into turn 1. Caught way too much of the apron there. I was loose and I was trying to stay well to the inside of the traffic. And Sadler was so far ahead of us, too. He really got held up by a lot. Even Dale Jr., for that matter. Only about 5 or 6 car lengths ahead of us now. Maybe a little more than that. Part of me doesn't want this race to end, as crazy as that may seem, just because I try not to lose hope. Like, man, if we had another 100 laps, maybe we get like 3 more cautions. Try something. Part of me still thinks that way. It's a blessing and a curse. Sometimes you gotta know when to let go. This is one of those races, you know, you just gotta move on. It was just never gonna happen. I messed up on the setting pre-race. Or the car setting, specifically. Our Chicagoland struggle was nowhere near this bad. Like, when we didn't have the downforce there, I was on the lead lap 17th. But I've legitimately gotten lapped twice in this race. Like, yeah, we lost 1 spot because of the spins earlier, or 1 lap because of the spins earlier. Maybe be on the brink of losing my 2nd lap right now, but I would at least be 1 lap down with this long green flag run. Like, I literally had no hope with this race going long, green flag like it has, of getting a lead lap finish. You could argue maybe I'd be in the top 30 or something like that and get a few extra positions out of it rather than restarting a full lap behind some of those other guys. Like, it took us so long just to catch Stremme that we were quicker than. And probably the other Ganassi car of Sorensen or Menard, who's also slower than us, but they were a lap or two ahead. Or maybe Jeff Gordon drops a motor. It's very possible that Gordon, Johnson, and Earnhardt are 1, 2, and 3. That would literally be the worst thing that could happen. They all lead laps, finish 1, 2, 3. I'm 37th right now. And Jeff Gordon's probably going to lead the most. Second time in 3 races, he'll lead the most laps. Crazy. I think Jeff Gordon's finishing the top 5 every chase race. And we still only have a 163-point lead over him with winning the first 6 races. Max points days in 4 of them. Actually, 5. No, we did lead the most laps at Dega, too. Not by much, but... we locked that up with just over 10 to go. That pit strategy was the only reason we did. Being able to stress that final fuel run, we were able to lead about 30-plus laps consecutively. Here's Sorensen. This is probably going to be another spot. Jamie McMurray held him up for a while also. Trying to follow Elliott Sadler by him. Man, it got really loose driving off into turn 1. There he goes. Is this 36th? It is. 36th, baby. Look at us go. If I was a fan, hoping Dave Blaney would hang on for the championship, I'd be cheering so loudly for this because it's like the only thing we've been able to cheer as fans of me trying to win this championship all season. Or all race. Not all season. That sounds ridiculous. We won 19 races. But, yeah, they're like, oh, that's huge. I mean, that's 6 points. We've outright beat on speed. It took a while to get there. We did it. Right front just starting to wear off a little more. Really hoping those rights go the rest of the way. Probably going to be asking more out of them than I initially thought, but still going to go lefts only. I'm going to have to top all the way off. I feel I could probably get away with going half a tank and make it to the end from where we have to pit. Especially if I can get down to about 30 laps to go before making the stop. We'll be close considering we're 3 laps down. So I can factor that in too. Knowing that we're not going to get any of these laps back. Granted, we've only restarted on old tires today, but I still think I'd be pretty bad on the restart side of things, so I'm kind of hoping it stays green now that we're in the final fuel window. If that's not going to change anything. Jackson Robinson, thanks for tuning in. No, don't wreck, don't wreck, don't wreck, don't wreck. Yes. Why does he say that? It's the second time I've gotten really snappy loose like that, and he's like, "Gar a little loose." Shut up. You just let the grown man drive. I don't want to have to fight you in the Monday morning meeting. Harassing me while I'm behind the wheel. Probably lost like 8 pounds this race. Inside this hot car. Might as well have not given me power steering. That's basically what this feels like. You just get to watch me struggle. You don't get to live through it like I do. Get all 4 last stop. Well, at least I'd have stability. I do want to make sure I'm going to stay in front of 40-41. I do think we can catch Paul Menard for position before the end of the race, too. Because he was about as slow as those guys were, and it's been a while since we passed him. So I am still going to, for strategy purposes, I can get another spot on actual speed. I'm going to take lefts. Take the rights all the way to the end. Or at least until we get a caution. I mean, there's still a chance we get a caution in the middle of green flag pit stops. And other cars maybe get trapped on the same lap as us. I don't think so, though, with being 3 laps down. Like, it'd probably have to be somebody who is already a lap down. And even then, I don't think that they'd fall 3 down. They'd probably fall 2. Dude, that's got to be the 3rd or 4th time I've done that with McMurray. It's weird because Truex only did it at one time that caused the incident. McMurray, that's like the 3rd or 4th time I've ran into him. He gets out of the way, but not until I get to him. And then it's just too late. We're both having a really bad day. Don't make it any worse than it already is. Oh, that contact screwed me so badly. I could have given him more room. Ugh. Hang on to it. I'm about to wreck again. Holy hell. Get out of the way, Truex. Oh, that's not enough. Sorensen's catching back up to us. It's right there. I think, yeah, I'm going to have to... Oh, man, we're going to lose so much time taking 4 tires. Our stop's going to be probably as slow as it was the last time we took 2. Well, even the 4-tire stop earlier was like 21.5 seconds. Sorensen's right there. Yeah, I'm just going to take 4. I need to make sure that I beat this 41 car, because we're actually battling for position. This matters for me. We're going to lose the spot right now. Whoa, he is not clear yet. Oh, Robbie, what are you doing? He scared me. I knew he was behind me. Why was he trying to go to the outside to pass? There's so much room down low. Oh my God. I'm pitting this time. I'm pitting this time. So is Reed. Get him. Don't speed. Okay. That was as good of a pit road entry as I could have had there. I don't need a full tank. Let's go 3/4 just to make sure we're good. Well, I don't know how many laps are left. Yeah, we'll still be fine. Give me 4. Oh my gosh. Getting the hand cramps. Ugh. I'm gripping onto the steering wheel like I'm hanging off the end of a bridge. Firmly grasping it. Just clean stop. Still gonna be slow. We got a lot of damage to repair. I would imagine Sorensen beat us out of the pits. We gotta go. We gotta go. We gotta catch him. David Stratby got around us too. Gosh darn it. We gotta get them both back. There's a chance. Robbie jump scared everyone. I mean, he definitely jump scared me. I knew he was there because I saw him out of the rear view, but I don't know why he tried to pass me on the outside. There was no room up there. Right off the exit of the corners, my car was naturally going up there too. Yeah, fuel's gonna be fine. I could have gotten away with a half a tank because I didn't realize we pitted with less than 30 to go. I don't know that would have quickened the stop any, but Weber Torres on the Tigers for 1 year. Hey, give him a try. I mean, that's about as good of a big name as we're probably going to get in the off season. Okay, so Stremy must not have pitted yet until just now, so we're up to 37. So Stremy didn't get around us. Or somebody else DNF'd. One of the two. I'd like to think we're like 21 laps left. Yeah, 20 for that reason alone. That reason alone. It's not just the one stop, it's the culmination of the 3 slow stops that we've had. The 3 slow stops together, honestly, it's like a quarter of a track each. That is probably the difference of me being 2 laps down or 3 laps down at this rate. Like, it really did cost me that much time. And then I was a lap down naturally on speed that I would have lost. And that's regardless of any spins that we had early in the race. Like, we just did not have the speed at all today. No speed, no handling. This is the 1.5-mile curse I was worried about coming into the chase. It just didn't happen yet until now. I thought Charlotte it was going to happen, but we were able to get some strategy that worked our way. And we were managed to stay in a lap down, and we actually were able to work on the car and get it better throughout the race. This car just did not get better, and if anything, it probably got worse. We were not able to make this car work all day. And we need to find something for Texas, because if we have a race like this again, we're in trouble. It doesn't matter how good I do at Phoenix, or even if I do have the same speed I had at Kansas at Homestead, we're going to be too far back. we'll have the points lead going into Texas, but Texas is going to be, I think, the make or break race for this championship. You know, I mean, obviously Homestead could be too because we haven't gone there yet, but I'd like to think we'll have more speed there than we had here and at Texas tomorrow. I pretty much know Texas, we're not going to have a lot of speed. I mean, we didn't run top 10 there most of earlier this season, but I need grip. You know, I got at least another, but get out of my way! Oh my God! Oh my gosh! Now the car is all wrecking loose again. Probably burnt the tires off of it already. Oh my gosh. At least that's not a position. Luck right now. I didn't have any luck today. It's all been bad luck. That's the luck I've had. 9.2s at one point. I ran a 30.0 that last lap. Golly. I mean, I have hit the wall quite a bit in this race. That's got to have taken at least a little speed out of it along the way. Knew Jeff would be the guy to beat for the title. Yeah, he's been so consistent. The second half of the regular season, he went from like 8th in points to 4th. Probably would have been 3rd if he didn't blow that motor at, what was it, Bristol? There was a race, maybe it was Michigan. One of those races. Actually, I think it was Michigan, because he would have been in contention for the win that day had he not blown a motor. But yeah, he would have finished probably 3rd in the regular season standings. And he has finished top 5 every chase race so far, and this is going to be his first win. He's led the most laps in 2 of them now. Each of the last mile and a half, so that scares me for Texas and Homestead that he's going to be really good again. Golly, we've got to get to Sorensen. How far ahead is he? I hope that I'm at least ahead of Stremme still. Looking on the track map, I don't see anything. Oh, yeah, somebody did blow a motor. That's going to be another spot. It's going to take us probably a couple laps if they were on the lead lap. But that's going to be another position. Thank goodness I've always ran good at Texas. Well, not... We finished 11th at Texas earlier this season. I didn't lead a lap. We had better speed than we had today, but we, yeah, we didn't have a great run at this season. I am scared. I'm putting downforce into it. I don't care how much it slows us down. I need grip. I can't do this. 500 miles of this again, and we're not winning the championship. I have to not wreck. Or spin out because of how sideways the car is. Like, Phoenix should be a win. Yeah, that should be a win. We got somebody else pulling in. Oh, it's McMurray. Dang it. I was hoping that was going to be another position. I think one more lap and we'll end up getting that spot on whoever blew a motor 2 laps ago now. All right, so we'll get to 36th. I'm hoping 35th if we can catch Sorensen. I think it's either Sorensen or Stremme up here. Maybe both of them. It could be both of them that are up here. Gaining a lot of time. I think Truex or... Yeah, it's probably Truex because McMurray just pit. I think McMurray's cycling off pit road right now. There he is. I think that this guy had the speed to catch and pass me, and now he's just parking it right... Actually, you know what? It might be both cars. I think it's Stremme and Sorensen up ahead. Go, Blaney, go! You have 2 more spots, buddy. Yeah, it is both of them. Oh, Truex, don't do this again, man. Yes! Oh, he hit hard. He hit that wall hard. I did cause that. It didn't cause a caution, though. We're good. We got to go. We're 3 laps down, so we're coming close to the finish here. Think we got to go? Should have 6 laps left to try to catch these two. They might catch McMurray one more time. I don't think they're going to get back to Truex. I don't think we have enough laps left. We might not even get to McMurray again. Go, Blaney, go! This is the most intense battle for 34th we have coming up here. Fell. I was 2 laps down. These two, Stremme, Sorensen, were 1. I passed Menard a couple times, so if I were to catch him again, it would be a spot, but I don't think he's going to be catchable the rest of the race. If we would have had maybe another full fuel run, I probably would have caught him for position, but he was on the lead lap, unfortunately. Actually, I think he was the one that got the free pass during the last yellow, because I think he was a lap down, but then he got his lap back that way. Somebody else just pulled the pit road. It might have been the 1 car. Somebody else is down there. Maybe Truex, because he pitted right around 65 to go. So I don't know that he was going to make it. Man, I better catch these guys. Otherwise, I'm really going to regret taking 4 tires. I was hoping I did it just for the grip side of things, and then I could catch them on the long haul, and I may not catch them both. I think Gordon's only got 2 to go. We have 2 to go this time by. I'm not going to catch either one of them. There's no sign of Truex or McMurray again either. Jeez. That's 6 points we gave up on the last pit cycling. Yep. That's what I thought. White flag for Jeff Gordon. Final lap. I'm digging. There's what little to no speed I have. I'm trying to get the most out of it I can right now. I'm being aggressive and I'm overdriving it. I'm too far back. I really thought we were going to catch them there when they got caught behind Truex, but then after they passed them, they just haven't lost as much ground. Go. It's the final lap. I'm so far back. It's probably going to take me another 5+ laps to get to them anyway. Gosh darn it. If I was on the lead lap, had those extra 3 laps, I think I could have at least gotten 40. Dang, man. That's 6 points, but that's... You don't know how that could be. Top 3 were the 3 guys behind us in points. Oh, man, that was not fun. I qualified 10th. 23 lead changes, 3 cautions, 1.6 second margin of victory for Jeff Gordon. He led 156 laps out of 325, gets the win. 169.02 mile per hour average race speed, 2 hours 57 minutes 39 seconds total time on the race. Jimmy Johnson second. Dale Jr. led 40 laps. I'm surprised he led that many. Finishes third. Ryan Newman fourth. Fifth for Elliott Sadler. Top 5 again for him. Is that Kurt Busch? Yeah, Kurt Busch in 6th. Jeff Green got another top 10, finishing in 7th. 8th for Bobby Labonte. Mark Martin 9th. Mark Martin led 72 laps today, too. Tony Raines, second top 10 in the last 3 races. Good run for him. Harvick led for 33. How did he fall back to 13th? Wow. He really fell in the second half of the race. 17 cars finished on the lead lap. See what other chasers finished outside the top 10. I wasn't really looking there. Outside of Harvick in 13th. He had Dale Jarrett 15th. Get that top 10 finally at Martinsville, and that was it. I think Tony Stewart blew up because I haven't seen him in the finishing order yet. Yeah, there's Menard. Okay, so we were ahead of Stremme still. That must have been Sorensen and maybe just somebody else. Maybe it was Menard that was up ahead of him, but okay, so it probably only cost us one position on that final stop, but still, it sucked. Greg Biffle was one of the guys that blew up late. Third finish outside the top 30 in the last 4 races now for the Biff. So he blew an engine late. McMurray was slow. Truex was slow. Jeff Burton blew a motor. B. Chandler, and then Tony Stewart blew an engine on lap 79. He was the first driver to retire from the race today. 23 lead changes again. Oh, boy. What's the damage? HMS stepped it up for the chase. Yes, they did. Johnson was 10th. Johnson was the 10 seed at the end of the regular season. He barely made it in, and now he's like in the race for the championship. We got 4 drivers with 3 races to go all of a sudden now that are right on top of each other. I'm still a little upset that Johnson and Earnhardt got free bonus points at Martinsville for no reason. They each got 5 bonus points even though they didn't actually lead a lap. Yeah, Earnhardt 3rd, Johnson 4th. 134 separating 1st through 3rd. 34 points over Jeff Gordon. Didn't lead a lap and finished 11th at Texas earlier in the year. Oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy. Jeff's good a mile and a half, so yeah, he's finished top 5 in every chase race so far. I mean, even the short tracks, you can expect him to have a good run, even if I like go out there and dominate Phoenix like I should. He might finish 2nd, and I might not get that many points on him, maybe 15. It puts a lot of pressure on us here for Texas and Homestead. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared. 34 points is not healthy enough. 164 was. It's a good thing I won those first 6 races. I'm so glad I saved enough gas at Talladega. And I'm so glad that I made the car raceable at Charlotte because we had a 15th place car at the beginning of that one, made a couple of adjustments, and we had speed and we were able to strategize our way into a win there, even with an early spin. Tony Stewart's now 10th in the chase. Biffle's back to 8th again. Newman 9th. Dale Jarrett with only 1 top 10 in the chase is 7th. And that's because, I mean, the same 3, I mean, Biffle's had an abysmal last few races outside of yesterday. Newman's DNF'd a couple times. Stewart now a couple times. At least Jarrett's finishing races. It's only a 3rd top 15. He's finished 15th or better. I think his best finish is 15th, 14th, and wherever he finished in the top 10. What was it, 5th? Yesterday at Martinsville? Wherever it was. He had a top 10. Realistically, probably a 3-team race. I mean, Johnson's only 15 points behind Earnhardt, so, I mean, if you're going to include Dale Jr., you have to include Jimmy Johnson, I feel, too. It's only a 15-point difference between those two. Oh, boy. Well, Texas is going to be interesting tomorrow. We got a little over 24 hours until then. 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll go live for that race. Appreciate everybody tuning in today. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. And we'll try to hang on to this points lead for another 500-mile race on a 1.5-mile track tomorrow evening. Thanks for watching, everybody. And have a good rest of your Sunday. Go Pack, go.